What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Comic Collector Origins. Happy Saturday. If you guys are new to the channel, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, if you guys are not familiar with Comic Collector Origins, you know I'm always talking with people from the community, trying to get to know people's background a little bit more and really how they got started in collecting comic books, their origin story, their first appearance, in a comic, setting, whether it's a Comic-Con or a store. My guest for today, he goes by HongyComics over on Instagram, and let me bring him in right now, and we'll get this kicked off. So there he is. What's up, Hongy? What's up, brother?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. How are you?
Oh man, just chilling, yo. Like I said, enjoyed my Saturday off. It's been a long week of work. It's been everybody just going through kind of the same stuff, right? So time just feels weird.
I hear that, man. I hear that. And you're right in New York, right? You're right in the city.
Yeah. I'm based in Queens, so
Nice.
Shout out to Queens.
Nice. So have you been? I know you've been putting out a lot of cool videos throughout the past couple months. Your collections, your books from CGC and things like that. How's that been going?
Man, if I'm being honest, it's kind of taken a seat to the side. I'm still collecting. I'm still on the hunt, but definitely not like I was like a month ago. I feel like for about 2 or 3 months, I was just every day. That was like the only thing, right? Like in between meetings on my phone, checking the eBays and stuff.
Right.
But it slowed down, I would say, a few weeks ago, but mostly due to like work, just work picking up and stuff. So
right.
It was not as easy to get distracted,
Hey, man, sometimes life happens,
Yeah.
Especially this world that we're in right now. So it's totally understandable. And I'll be honest too, man. I definitely take my foot off the gas pedal once in a while, especially right now with football season going on. I am very obsessed with a lot of the sports that we've been getting. So
yeah, that's right. You do a little action, huh, on those games?
A little bit, yeah. Do some fantasy football type stuff. I've been watching some golf, even doing going to the range a little bit. So got a couple hobbies in the mix that are keeping me busy.
Yeah.
So real quick, we'll say hello to the chat, and then we'll jump into some of the questions. We got Raging Cajun Comics. What's good, Raging? He was my guest last week.
Oh, Happy Saturday. I was just watching his video too. What's up, man?
Good deal. I got a really cool AOK from him. Just came in the mail yesterday or 2 days ago. I got to do a video for that because I might go live after this, maybe on Instagram, and show off this nice book he sent me. Really, really nice of him. So good to see you, Raging. And then we got Climbing Comics. What's up, Alan? Alan's always in the house. Good to see you, brother. He says he feels you. Work gets in the way of what you really want to do. Yeah, man. Sometimes it happens.
That's just life.
Totally, man. Totally. So good stuff. Climbing Comics. Alan, thanks for stopping by. Alan too is starting to kick his YouTube content off. So good for you, man. See that you're pumping out videos. I know that can be very time consuming. So good to see you on the hustle there. All right, man. So yeah, anybody watching the replay, thanks for taking the time. Anyone new to this, you guys know it's just trying to get to know the background of some of our fellow collectors. So HongyComics, I've sent you a couple questions. You already kind of know the deal. After I ask you these questions, we will go into a little bit of a rapid question section, questions that I haven't sent you, to kind of get to know you a little bit more, not just on a comic book level, but just on a personal level. They're all fun stuff, nothing hard, I promise. So let's kick this off. When was it, or how old were you when you really first got into comic books or collecting or even just reading comics?
So there were sort of 3 touch points of comics in my life. Like the first one was, when I was 9 years old, probably, and just I don't recall how, but growing up, being in the late 80s, early 90s, you watch Saturday morning cartoons and stuff, and the cartoons back in the day, those are dope. So I just remember, but the thing I vividly remember were the releases of X-Men #1, Jim Lee, that one, right? And the other one being Spawn #1, because those were just huge, right?
Massive,
man. A big deal and stuff. And
people were waiting online to get those comics, weren't they? Like Spawn, I remember to get it signed and stuff. I remember the whole craze of Image coming out and all that stuff.
And it was on the news. That was the thing that tripped me out. Like, oh my god, they're talking about comics on like regular national news, on television, and so yeah, and I just remember that craze. I would say through like the 5th grade, I mean, I grew up in East Oakland, so like me and my buddies, every once in a while, we'd like hit up when they used to have the comic racks in random like liquor stores and stuff.
Hell yeah.
We would just kind of, swipe them every once in a while, but never really read. And then kind of dropped off. The whole interest in comics sort of dropped off. And then it wasn't until like college where, you're in the dorm, you're stuck in the dorm. What do you do? Sometimes you just find something to read. And
Right.
one of my good friends that like lived like a few floors beneath me, he introduced me to all these DC titles that I had never heard of, like Watchmen, right? Like Crisis on Infinite Earths. And then he introduced me to basically all these like, top 10 Marvel DC stories,
Big storylines.
Yeah, the big ones, Killing Joke. And at the time I remember he was talking about Hush, because Hush was just, that was a
good one.
That was a real good one. So, so he was collecting those. So I would basically like catch up anytime I'd visit him. Like, a few weeks later, I'd catch up and get to read his stuff. So that was the last touch point. After I graduated college, though, it just dropped off. And then, man, it's been a year now. Last year, New York Comic Con, the last New York Comic Con.
Crazy.
As of yet, but yeah, that was my first Comic Con experience. My buddy EJ, shout out to EJ, by the way. EJ, he's a guy I used to work with, and he basically hit me up like a few days before Comic Con, and he was all like, "Yo, I got an extra ticket. Do you want to come?" So, yeah, absolutely. I would check it out, experience it myself, see what it's about, and we got there, and I caught the bug. Just caught the bug, right afterwards, immediately. It just was like, what's there to read now?
Sure.
What are the titles like? And little did I know, there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there. But yeah, that was kind of that. So those are the 3 phases that I always like to share.
Right.
So yeah.
That's crazy, man. So I remember, and I should have said this earlier, for anyone that's watching right now, we Hongy and I, we did a live stream on Instagram a couple, probably a month ago, about, feels like a month.
Is it only a month ago?
Maybe a little longer.
Man, I don't even know.
But it was cool because we just, we did an unboxing, but I remember you bringing up, or we were, talking a little bit about Comic Cons and stuff like that. And I remember you mentioning that. So it's really cool to know that was like your first experience, and it's where it really got you, like you said, you caught the bug, and it's the bug is a real thing with comics. I mean, I certainly have gone through it myself, and it's easy to just go downhill with buying up everything and trying to like you said, just the stories alone. I mean, you're talking about some of the stories you just named. Those were throughout the 90s and 2000s. There's still some great stories even before that, and of course there's new stories that are coming out right now that are really hot. So it's like so much to kind of take in, and it's like, where do you start? Where what do you cut time out for? And obviously you can't own everything, right? So it's like but that's amazing. I see a couple other people in the chat here. I wanted to just say hello. Greg LaRoque, that's my dad. What's up, Dad?
Hey.
Southern Comic Geeks is in the house. He's talking about you swiping them back in the day. HongyComics says X-Men and Spider-Man, Batman, the animation series.
Oh,
what's your favorite superhero of the 90s cartoons?
Oh man,
what do you got to say to that one?
Oh, that's hard to determine, because each one of them came at a specific time that meant so much. The one I have to say that I like, if I had to choose one, it'd have to be like Ninja Turtles, actually. Like,
oh, there you go. Yep.
Just because, like, I was so young, I was at that ripe old age to enjoy that type of like cartoon, right? So it just stuck with me. And then in the 90s, when that first movie came out, it was just so dope. Like, I can still rewatch that today and still enjoy it. Like,
100%. Yeah.
So that's kind of at like the top level. But man, Spider-Man was also great. Man, the way the way they, like, even the last season was just so good. Like, I still remember the last season with Madam Web and like all the different like spider, like that was like the first Spider-Verse, right? Like Man, yeah, X-Men was excellent. It didn't end well, let's be honest. Like X-Men in the end just did not end well. But the first couple seasons, I mean, Dark Phoenix, I feel like to this day, like the cartoon is the only thing that's done Dark Phoenix justice.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like yeah. Unfortunately, they tried twice and they failed. So you know, yeah. And then of course Batman. Sheesh. Yo, I was actually sorry. I just have to mention this. I was actually
no.
watching this thing on YouTube, going on a YouTube binge, and I saw Kevin Conroy, right, the voice of Batman.
Yeah.
He was telling a story about you know, how he did that, how he came up with the voice, and he would like it's crazy because like the way he was describing it, the director was in the room and she wasn't like completely unsure about it. He did the voice and they all went silent, and so he thought like he completely bombed.
Right.
But that's like a similar reaction I remember having when I first like saw Batman. I feel like hearing his voice and watching in that style, like just yeah. So all really good to say it. Like it's too hard to really choose, but yeah, Ninja Turtles just because of that.
Totally.
Yeah, you know.
Hell yeah, man. You know, that's what I like too about the 90s cartoons is that was another complementary thing that kind of goes alongside with comics. You know, and even would have piqued some of our interests as kids to say, okay, I understand these shows originally came from comics. Maybe I check out a comic or two, you know, and go that route. You know, I know there's still, you know, Disney Plus is still pushing, you know, some of the older 90s stuff. There's rumors of, you know, a lot of other cartoon type shows of comic series coming out. I think that'll be great, you know, especially for the comic community, you know, to grow and introduce comics to more people. You know, the movies obviously have done a great thing, especially what Marvel has done in the past 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think that has brought a lot of serious collectors now into the game, which is always great. So it's a good, healthy, you know, even with the pandemic going on right now, you know, I think comics is still, you know, doing pretty well in terms of the fan base and in terms of the people. I know right now, even as we're speaking, they're doing the Baltimore Comic-Con live right now on YouTube.
Oh, weird.
They're doing like the virtual version of that. So, you know, anybody that's here right now in the chat, you know, thanks for taking some time out of that, because I'm sure a lot of you might be over there I know it's like 3 or 4 days they're doing it, and, you know, interviewing some cool names. So I saw Mercy was in here. What's up, Mercy? Desired Comics also was in here. Good to see you.
Hey.
So we're just hanging out talking with HongyComics. So all right, Hongy. So you talked about yeah, these 3 separate times that you kind of got reintroduced into comics, and you got back into it. When was it that you first decided that you were going to make an Instagram account specifically to comic books? And also with the videos, I remember last time we talked, you mentioned a little bit about how it kind of ties into your work and how you wanted to get some practice in and things like that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So yeah, I think immediately, I mean, seriously, like immediately after like the day of Comic-Con, like my buddy EJ and I were talking, and I was just like, yo, I'm in it. Like, I'm gonna go for it. Like, I want to find out what's what and kind of go into it. And like when you're starting off, right, like it's there's a lot to, like, there's a lot of angles, right? There's a lot of different type of collectors, you know, like there's just the diversity is crazy. So me starting off, like I really didn't know, I didn't really have any purpose at the time. The only thing that I knew that I wanted to do was like, I wanted to like find out about these like Asian American characters, you know, and start kind of collecting them. And then the other part of it was because of X-Men and just X-Men being so cool at the time, and just, you know, yeah,
They're still cool. They're still cool.
It's still cool. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They're killing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember when I went to my LCS and I was just asking them about X-Men titles. They you know, recent X-Men titles, they were like, oh, House of X, Powers of X. Like, just no, they're just read that. Like, you'll be good. And in fact, yeah, read that and kind of went nuts on it. And when I mean went nuts, I started like, and I think actually we talked about this, because I think I remember asking you if you were trying to collect all the variants. But like, it started off with just trying to get all the like connecting variants. And then I started thinking about, oh man, all the Scotty Young ones, because I love his like style, right? Like, it'd be kind of cool to have all of those. And then the second printings, right? It's just the same cover, but it's like a two-tone. And like, being a designer, like I appreciate like silly things like that. And so I was like, oh man, that's kind of cool to have. And then of course there's like the hidden gems that came, like just the variants, like learning about variants was starting to go crazy. And at some point I started realizing, okay, now I'm starting to understand why there's a lot of collectors that also like flip and stuff, you know, you know, following some of the bigger like YouTube names that show up, like Reggie Collects and like Comic Moms and stuff like that. One of the advice that you hear them always give is like first off, just like do what you love, right? And then like don't necessarily like try to look at it as like, oh, I'm trying to flip or I'm trying to make money or whatnot. Like if it's something that I think is hot, you know, maybe I collect an extra one so I can flip later to help pay for it, you know.
Sure.
If it doesn't, no big deal. So the original intent of the Instagram was really to maybe try to like, you know, connect with people that I could kind of do that, where I could trade and sell and stuff. But man, I get so attached to my stuff. Like I just like, I mean, it's so hard to just like look at it and be like I have two of them. Why do I have one? You know, like
yep.
So I started kind of was like, all right, well, I definitely want to try to do something with it. Like I want to try to make videos. I want to try to talk about it. And I wanted to do get comfortable like speaking in front of a camera, you know. I think when you first try it, like it's super awkward. Like
totally.
So the first just couple videos was really just to like, all right, focus on what like I'm trying to do here, just like, and try to like speak in front of the camera without feeling too uncomfortable. And like, and it was really that intent of just wanting to practice, like, and yeah, got to meet a bunch of cool people. Got to like, you know, and using it to like check out like auctions and stuff, right? Like it's like a whole community like of not just like selling, but just people that connect with. I mean, you and I, right? Like we connected randomly through IG, you know, like yeah, man, it's cool because like my personal one, honestly, like all the recommended stuff is more like photography based or like you know, like has something to do with my work, like, and I kind of don't want to mix that feed with like, you know, hobby stuff, right? Like mostly because like this is a large hobby. It's not just comics, you know what I mean? Like
totally. You get the action figures, you get the cartoons, the movies, the, you know, everything. Yeah,
man. So yeah, that was kind of the purpose of the IG. And so now it's more like when I do have time, I try to continue to make videos and stuff. That actually kind of like makes you realize, like I was watching rewatching some of the videos you had, the guys you interviewed, and you guys have such nice backgrounds. And I'm just like, man, I still need to get furniture. So like,
dude, you haven't gotten furniture yet? Hold on, time out. So like I said before, we talked last time we talked, it was over a month. I think it was over a month ago, probably a month and a half. And I remember that you mentioned you had to slow down on comic books because you needed to start buying some furniture for your apartment or your house. And are you apartment or house or
apartment? Yeah.
So I remember you talked about that, and I remember saying like, make sure you put some money aside so you can eat, and you know, make sure you put food in front of comics because this, you know, you got to eat. And now you're talking about furniture again, man. So yeah, you need to work on some furniture.
yo, I'm just no. I mean, I have. You know what it is? It's like because I have my desk set up, right? I have my office space. I got my bed. I got my couch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm comfortable, but like, and I don't have people over. But like, you know, if I really want to do this video, like that's the other motivating factor, like that I need to get furniture. Is just like, man, like, okay, I want to actually start making videos, and I want to have like a dope set to like show in the background, and like, you know, it's just a matter of like actually pulling the trigger, you know?
Right. I mean, you know, you just throw some posters up there, and you know, that I think would cover you for now. I mean, you throw one poster up on like the left side of your head there, and
yeah. I actually do have one. I have one that I just got, but I was also in Chicago for 2 weeks. I just needed to get out of the city, you know?
Oh, that's right. I remember you mentioned that. Yeah, how was that?
It was cool. It was a long drive, but it was
drove nice.
Yeah. But it was a good drive. It was felt like it felt like a big accomplishment driving like 12 and a half hours. Like,
Dude, that is a hike for sure.
yeah. So that was cool. And it was nice just to get out of like the city, right, and like hang out with like some people and stuff, you know.
Totally.
So it was dope. I got to check out some of the shops out there. Oh, you know what I found really interesting out there though?
What's that?
The Chicago shops. My boy out there, he, you know, we did this like Chicago like comic shop tour, hit up the burbs and stuff.
Nice.
I would say like we hit up 7 of them, 5 out of 7, maybe like 4 out of 7, 5 out of 7 of them were really reader-based, reader-focused shops. So like they didn't have any like variants. Like they don't do cover Bs, cover Cs, and things like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
There was actually 2 stores, and I'm forgetting their names, but they had incentive covers just out on the shelf. Like, wow. And they were selling them for like regular cover. So I just thought that was interesting. Like that was kind of a big difference that you definitely see that I noticed.
Totally.
You know, most of those shops.
A little more friendly, it sounds like. I mean,
yeah,
you know, some of the shops now, I mean, anywhere nowadays, everyone's, you know, jacking up all the prices to some of these, you know, these types of variants and stuff, which I understand, you know, it's a kind of part of the market or whatever, but it is nice to, you know, hear some of these shops that are more focused on or driven on, you know, just like getting these books to readers and getting the stories to people, you know, kind of keeps what comics is all about, you know, at the top of everybody's head. So that is cool. It's funny because we talked, I think it was last week that the last week or the week before we were talking about Chicago, but we were talking about pizza, and I was wondering if you were gonna bring up Chicago pizza because that was a discussion. It was 2 weeks ago that we had that. So it's just funny you bring up Chicago. See a few other people. You did, yeah,
yeah, I did. And then the first night I got back, I got New York pizza. Just like you just have to.
Totally. Martin's in the house. What's up, Martin? He says furniture over comics. Someone has their priorities straight. Yep. And Jan was in here. Furniture can't wait. There you go. Sitting on some plastic boxes. Hey, Jan, whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. What's up, Fun Comics? Hello. Good to see you. All right. So let's talk a little bit about we talked about, you know, you've been in and out. What are your current goals for the comics that you own and the comics that you're continuing to buy? You know, where do you see your comic books long term? And of course, I know this can change. That answer is always probably a changing answer, but at least as of right now, you know, where do you expect to see your books 20, 30, 40 years or even longer? Are you going to sell these one day? Are you flipping them one day? Are you going to pass them on to family members one day, or are you taking them to the grave with you?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. Let's start. I'll kind of start off like this. I think right now, like long-term wise, I feel like I don't know when it'll be. Maybe it'll be 10 years or so, maybe 15 years. But I do think at some point I'd want to transition the comics to OAs, to like original arts and then like commissions and stuff. So that is something that I would like to do because you know, the art really is what captured my attention into like comics, right? It was the art style and stuff, and so there's a lot of artists out there that I'd love to attempt to afford, right? And I'd love to be able to use, you know, my collection to kind of like pay for that and kind of, you know, switch them, because I don't think this is not sustainable. It's like it's going to be too much, you know. Near-term goals wise though, I went on a crazy spree like my first year. I mean, literally it's been like New York Comic Con was last year, like a few weeks ago. So it's just over a year. And since then, like I've picked up a lot of like keys because I had, like I said in the beginning earlier, you know, my focus was like the Asian American or like the Asian POC characters, you know, so like Miles was on that list, you know, like obviously Amadeus Cho and like Silk and all them. And so a lot of those keys I did get, and I also got some kind of through random auctions here and there. I was also able to get some really cool books that like I never thought I would have been able to get, you know. Like I kind of like one book that I'll share is ASM #3.
Oh wow.
Like, yeah, you know, Doc Ock first appearance.
It's a big one.
Yeah, like signed by Stan Lee as well. So
Wow.
yeah. In
Do you
fact,
have it? Yes.
I
Throw some
had
books here.
any excuse to bring this book out. Like,
Hell
I
yeah, man.
busted it out.
Oh wow.
Like,
That is a beauty right there.
and yeah, this is, and it presents so well for like a 3.5 that just
Wow.
and I mean I get speechless. I swear I get speechless every time like I look at this. Just it's one of those books that that for me is what like it turned into a grail. It like I feel so satisfied like having that.
Totally. What's up, Kirk?
It's so satisfying to own that that now I feel like I'm just enjoying the current reads so much that I'm not really looking for those, you know, random keys anymore. I'm actually following sort of the stories that I'm reading right now, you know, which has kind of been really good. I mean, I know, you know, we've had some talk about Hawks and Pox before, but like, yeah, Exosaurus right now, you know what I mean? Like it's been, that's, and I want to continue. I want to follow something about like just staying up with the trend is just kind of exciting for me. And I also feel like right now, I've had this conversation with other people as well. I feel like right now is like a golden time for these writers. Like there's just so many good writers and so many good titles and so many good stories. Like not just across Marvel, but like the DC and like especially indies. So near term wise, it is trying to kind of just keep up with that. As far as what I would do, I think some of it, yes, for sure. Like I you know, because I want to make some of it back, right? Like I want to continue to be able to get more. I do think there's going to be some that I'm going to want to save for like my nephews. You know, I have these two nephews. Well, they're my cousin's kids, and I just call them my nephews, and they just call me my uncle. But they what is it? You know, the Miles Morales' Spider-Verse. That movie that came out.
Yeah, dude. I love that one.
Released, yeah, that was a great. Oh man, it was so good. Yeah. But when that was released, I actually flew to Chicago because that's actually where they live. And we got to watch it, like the three of us. Like it was just such a wonderful moment. You know what I mean? Being able to be that cool uncle and like take it to the theater, watch like Spider-Verse. And they're not even like that young. The youngest is 16 now. The oldest is 23, I think. You know, so they're not even that young. So like, you know, enjoying that together and having that moment, it you know, it makes me want to share like because you know they're into it too. We watched
they like it
together. You know what I mean? Like they're all into it. So
that's cool.
Knowing that I got, you know, those boys like to be able to hand him down and like knowing that they'll appreciate it, like that's always a side, you know, that's really cool as well. So probably just a few to flip, you know, a few to probably donate, you know, we'll see. You know?
Can you hold up that book one more time? Because that was just the people in the chat were
of course, dude. Like I said, man, excuse. This is just it's
a beauty. What was the year on that or the date on that? Originally?
Oh, 1963.
63. Okay.
Yeah, July of 63.
And when did he sign that? That looks like a 2018, 2017 signature.
No, 2008 actually.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, my other book, my first book actually that I got from my LCS, the first slab I ever bought from my LCS, actually happens to be another signed Stan Lee book. But it's actually a reprint.
Oh my God, I was just about to.
yeah. It's a reprint of AF-15.
Damn, that's still amazing.
yeah, definitely. But what's beautiful about this, well, I mean, sad and beautiful, is that it was signed the last year he was live, 2018.
Wow.
April 2018, yeah. So, and it's funny, like, man, this is a crazy story too, because I walked into the shop to pick up my books Wednesday evening after work, and he was just, you know, putting away some slabs and stuff, and he blessed this out. And this actually, back in 1992, 93, I remember going to the local library and just out of boredom, because I used to go to the library a lot. I was one of those Asian kids, and would go out there after work and study and stuff, after school and study and stuff. It really was work. But I remember there's one time where I didn't really have much homework and I had to wait for my pops to pick me up. And so what I would do is just search on the computer to see if they had any comic books one afternoon.
Yeah.
And they had the I don't know if it was an omnibus or if it was like just a hardcover or something, but it was of like Amazing Spider-Man, and it had AF-15 as the first issue, and then ASM 1 through like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
But this was actually the cover, or this cover reminds me, like this reprint cover reminds me of the cover of that book.
Oh wow.
So there's this like nostalgia that was just, so this is my first slab that I ever purchased from them, and it was signed by Stan Lee. I mean, what, how much more appropriate can that be?
Oh my god, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had this auction happening, and this is again, I got it from them. Same store. So
wow.
I'm definitely a loyal customer to my shop.
Dude, wait, which shop is this? This is
Royal.
It is Royal. Oh, okay. Yeah. Love Royal. Shout out to Royal.
Yeah, shout out to Royal for real. Mike and them, man, they always get good stuff. I don't know how, but he just knows people. So, yeah.
They have great deals, man. I remember when you grabbed that what was it? Spider-Gwen, was it? Or what'd you pull the trigger on?
Yeah, that was definitely one of them.
Right? Yeah. I remember seeing you in the chat. And I see your name come up with the big claim, and it was good. I was still waiting. The guy was still showing the book off, and you snatched it up quick. Yeah, that was a good grab.
I knew it was up, and all I needed to see was like, what was the potential grade,
right?
And because that's the other thing about Mike, like he's really accurate. If not, he's just like 0.5 or 1 point under, like,
right, which is great.
Yeah, he's really accurate. So but if I'm honest, he's usually 0.5 or 1 point over, so that's even better for
right.
But yeah, so I trust his grades, and as soon as I saw the letter, I already had it in there, and then as soon as I saw the 9-4 dash, I just hit enter.
Yeah,
man. And what's funny is I had a chance to just buy it like the day before, but I didn't. And the FOMO just got me, seeing all the people. Like, I think there was like at least 100 people, maybe 70 to 100 or something. I don't remember, but there's a lot of people. So I was just like, no, I can't let this go. This is just no way.
It's funny you say that because, and it's funny that you had the opportunity beforehand, because I've noticed that if you have the opportunity to be in a store and you see a book, the same FOMO or excitement isn't there compared to when you're on digitally, watching an auction and there's 100 other people that could also quickly claim that book. You immediately have this like, shoot, I have to do this quick before one of these other 100 people grab this book now the pressure's on. So it's like, it really does push you that extra, bit where you're just like, why didn't I just buy this before and not go through the stress? But it feels better now that when you buy it online for some reason.
So I think I remember I was at Zap. I was at your shop.
Oh, you were?
A while back. Yeah. And I remember I think I might have mentioned, I don't remember if I did mention you or not, but I think I remember mentioning to you I had seen a AF-15 Amadeus Cho first appearance over there. And I remember I asked the dude about that. Anytime I see Cho and Silk, like I always ask about it. And so I asked about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah," and this is before like it got hiked up. Like this is before whatever happened to Cho, like just hiked up, and he was going for 60. And in my mind, I'm sitting at that shop. I'm like, okay, listen, I have a raw. I have a 9.8, and I have a signed like 9.4 by Greg Pog. Like,
oh man,
another one. There's no point in me getting one. Why get one? And I did it. And as soon as I left the store, like I was just in the car, just thinking like, man, should I have gotten that? Maybe I should. Should I have gotten that? Maybe I should have gotten it. It just, drove me insane.
Yeah.
And I forgot about it until a few weeks later. Like there was just the key collector alert and blow up, and Comic Tom mentioning it, and all these people mentioning it. And it just blew up. Yeah. And after that, I was just gut wrenched. Like just. I feel like as a Korean, I failed. Like
the old shoulda, woulda, coulda, man. It's gotten all of us. That's great, man. Yeah, I just bought a big book from them actually, an X-Men book that I won't spoil yet because I have a video for it. But
Okay.
cool to hear you. I do remember you saying you went to Zap a little while ago, so it's cool that you swung by there. At some point when the pandemic is over, we got to meet up and hang out a little. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Kirk says buyer's remorse. Yes, sir. And yes, we were talking about the first Spider-Man, first appearance, first print. So good stuff. All right, so I know we come a little bit past the halfway mark here. I did want to ask you, what are some of the titles that you're currently reading, or at least that you were? I know you this past week or two has been a little crazy, but what are some of the current titles that you're pretty much trying to stay up to date on?
Oh man, they're actually mostly indies, if I've got to be honest. Like,
oh, nice.
Firepower, Robert Kirkman.
Okay.
Dude, I'm having so much fun reading that. I've heard nothing but good things about Chip Zdarsky from Daredevil, and I haven't had a chance to like dive into it. So
it's so good.
Yeah. See, like everybody I know, they keeps talking about that. So Stillwater, that just came out.
Oh,
and I honestly, I just saw the label, and then I saw Chip Zdarsky, and so I was just, all right, just give it a shot. And number 1, number 2, amazing.
Oh, they are good. Oh, good.
Yeah,
I bought mine. I didn't read it yet.
Oh man, yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. But again, I mean, it's still early, right? But I don't know, something, if it hits you good, like I feel like it's good.
Dude, Chip is great, man. I really like Chip.
Yeah, him.
Nice.
Oh man. I just caught up with Joker War. So that was actually really, I'm interested. I was definitely, I have to say, it wasn't like, it didn't hit the bar for me, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. It was nice to have like a good Batman story, because I caught the end of King's Run. So going from like the end of King's Run and going into this Joker War, it just felt like night and day. So so I did really enjoy that. What is it? TMNT I've been following. I'm really excited about Last Ronin, dude. Like, I'm definitely on that hype train.
I see a lot of hype. Yeah, I was gonna say, I see a lot of hype with that.
Definitely on that hype train. Speaking of TMNT, Power Rangers TMNT.
So that
I don't know if anybody caught that, but that I've read twice through now, because it's just so good fun. 3 Jokers, yes. Oh my goodness, I'm definitely on top of that as well.
Oh
3
man,
Jokers,
I want to read that. I haven't. I've been buying some of the issues, but I haven't read anything. I'm waiting until it like is all done, and I'll read it. Or is it out? Is it all done?
I can't even wait. I'm following so much like news stuff that like on the news, I feel like there's like clickbait titles that like just, I'm still afraid of ruining that. You know what I mean?
I know.
So like, and then number 1, honestly, like I like that book. I think it's like thick enough. Like there's enough content in there where like I can actually enjoy it like an episode. You know, which is kind of how I'm enjoying it. Right, it doesn't end, man.
And then all the X titles, right? You're reading all the X titles?
Yeah, new, like, oh my god, New Mutants. I was gonna drop it, honestly. I was at
really?
Yeah, I had it. You don't understand. Like, House of X and Powers of X made that much of an impact, where I was just like, I want to stick through this. I want.
For the record, don't spoil anything, because I'm not all caught up yet. But go ahead.
All right, no worries. But I will say, I was planning to drop New Mutants, and was it number 9 or number 10, where I just was like, oh, I can't. So like that kind of stuff happened. I will say, I was a little not disappointed, little sad to hear that Fallen Angels wasn't going to continue. That sort of Bryan Adams moving on to bigger and better things, but Fallen Angels I thought was sick.
I really liked it. I love the artwork. It was a good story.
Like that, like, oh man, it was. Yeah.
So it kind of they say that like Hellions kind of took that over, though, right? Is that? I know it's a different story, but okay. I'm right at the point where I'm about to start reading Hellions. I just read the first Wolverine, which was awesome.
Oh, you just read? Oh,
yeah, dude. And I know you were loving that. So
dude, I love it so much. I think only 2 issues. Maybe the 3rd came out. When I went to C2E2. So I like Wolverine,
Yeah, I know.
just who doesn't love Wolverine, right? Like just Bub and Snake and all that stuff. Who
Yeah,
doesn't
hell yeah.
love good Logan story? I mean, Old Man Logan, right? Like, but honestly, how often have we gotten? Because like I remember in college, like I was trying to go back and just trying to see like if there are any good like Wolverine stories, but
Right.
a lot of my buddies at the time were just like, nah, there's just really not that much good stuff, to be honest. He's better as like the X-Men or whatnot, like that's what they kind of would tell me. And so
Yeah.
So it was super hyped that this was that good, and seeing like oh my goodness, what's his name come back?
Omega Red.
Omega Red, yeah, seeing him.
Mhm.
So as soon as I read number 1, actually I went on eBay and I was looking for X-Men number 4, just like just seeing him. I was just like, oh, I better get him right now.
That book went down a little bit, so it's probably a good time to buy it. I feel like the hype has died a little bit down, so the prices are not as crazy for that. X-Men 4. Yeah, so that's cool.
I'm happy and satisfied. I'm not trying to get, trying to limit it. My rule is no more than doubles now. Like,
are you? Oh, that's good. That's good. That's cool. Yeah. Are you trying to one day? And I ask this because I'm starting to add this to my list. Are you trying to one day own Hulk 181?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, is that something?
Yeah. Okay. 181 GSX1, in fact, is like probably going to be like my 2021 goal.
Nice.
Yeah, I think those two, like I can't let it continue to rise and like have it get out of my price range. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to commit, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be close, especially after the last, what was it, the Heritage auction that like bumped up all the GSX.
I think it was Heritage. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a chance to buy I think it was a 181 7.5 7 or 7.5, and I had a chance to get it for like 28.
Wow.
At the time, and
Wow.
I mean, knowing if I had obviously, right, in hindsight,
of course,
knowing what I knew now, I would have swiped it. But
right.
At the time, I was just like, oh, that's kind of a big book, and man, sometimes just I should have known better. I don't know. I feel like I should have known better. Like, but
yeah.
I guess I just didn't want to, I didn't want to, I don't know.
It's like Amadeus Chow all over again.
Yeah.
You're like, don't remind me, man. Don't remind me.
So, 100%, 181 and GSX1. I can't pass. By I'd love to try to get it by mid 2021. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's on the list for me too. I'm trying to get. I'm hoping maybe I can get lucky, like I did my X-Men 1, and try to win it in a raffle instead of having to pay full price. But I know that's a gamble, so I don't know how safe that is to chase.
I don't know, man. I feel like something like that. I don't know. For me, because I'm more of a poker player. I remember we also talked about this.
That's right, dude. Yeah, man. Oh my gosh, I forgot that you said that you're a poker player. I used to love poker.
Yeah, so I like it. I'm able to gamble when like I feel like my odds are higher, right? So like in poker, you're playing the player, so so you're not playing the house, and
right.
And in a case like yours, I feel like you're sort of kind of playing the house.
You're definitely playing the house.
But like, how often do are you going to win? So I feel like that X-Men, like you walked away with.
Well, it was the fact that I won an X-Men. It was the fact that I won the X-Men 12 5 days before that. That was the thing. So I was like, oh, I hit the 12. Oh, 5 days later, I hit the 1. I'm like, I'm unstoppable.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a crazy week. That was right about my birthday too. So I just remember thinking like, oh, birthday luck or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Like,
personally,
what's that?
This ain't rigged. You sure it wasn't rigged?
Well, that's the I question that big time. When I was first like getting into looking into these things, these raffles, it's like, how can you? I didn't know anybody. The X-Men 12, I actually knew. I know, or I'm friends with the guy who owned it on Instagram, and he was having it being raffled by a bigger page that does raffles normally. Okay. So afterwards, that guy, because he was going to ship it to whoever, I remember he messaged me and said something like, here's a nice birthday. Heard you won. Here's a nice birthday gift for you or whatever. But other than that was the X-Men one was completely. I shouldn't have even been at that thing because I just hit so many lucky things, and I shouldn't have been where I was. But
hey, I mean, if you're on a streak, I say keep going.
You gotta run with it. Yeah. But I totally get what you're saying with, the house versus playing players. I much prefer going against being able to use skill, right? And research or whatever it takes versus, flipping coins all day. It's just not, it's more dangerous for sure.
Yeah.
But either way, so those books are some great big boy books. I see a lot of people in the chat, listing out a couple things too. I wanted to ask you, if, kind of the last question I sent you is, if you have any advice in general for someone new that might just be looking into getting into the hobby. I know this can be a little bit of an intimidating hobby, especially with so many people in the community, some people coming off a little bit as know-it-alls, and other people might not want to ask questions because they don't want to look silly or whatever. But, is there any advice in general that you would give, anything that you'd give to someone brand new?
Everything you just said definitely hits home for me because I only started this a year ago, and I remember having those feelings for a good few months. I think the biggest advice that I can give is honestly probably the same advice a lot of these other guys that I keep hearing, is really stick to what you love. If you're into, if that's a character you're into, start with that, and you don't have to get into everything all at once. You know what I mean? Right. Just start slow and then kind of see what's out there. I also think it is worth doing your research on the writers.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, they do, at least the writers that when you research, the top names that you'll see, you can get a sense of their style. Even just through the reviews and stuff. So I think if you do your research on writers, definitely collect your way 100%. Then I feel like it'll kind of open your minds and kind of branch out to other places. I mean, totally. Really, it was a lot of the Marvel writers and DC writers that kept making me want to see what else they wrote in the indie world. And definitely give indies a shot. Man, there's a lot of great stories out there. I mean, Tinyin's killing it right now. Department of Truth, I just read #1 and just
heard about that.
Woo! Yeah. So a lot of great stuff out there, but definitely, collect your way, to go into what you love, you know what I mean? And do your own research. Don't listen to what all these other people say.
Very true.
Don't I mean, we talked about this, the whole Daredevil thing. I definitely want to jump into Daredevil one day, discipline, right? It's all right, I hear good things about him, but Daredevil's I've never had that connection with that character, I enjoyed the Netflix series, it's great, but I don't remember seeing him I think he was in one episode of Spider-Man, right? And that animated.
And the animated, maybe.
Episodes of, so there's no connection. So I don't need to read it, but then hearing how good the story was, finding out who the author was, and then finding out, Stillwater came out, that was a great way to figure out, wow, this guy is wow, this is an exciting story. This is new. This is fresh, so.
It's a great point too that what you talk about doing research in the writers and what they've done. I mean, I am on characters now that I wasn't on before because of writers. I mean, I was not massive into X-Men up in before this year, and Claremont was the thing that got me completely hooked into just X-Men as a whole. And I don't know if I were to go back and read the Stan Lee stuff instead, if that was my first taste versus Claremont. I think Stan Lee had an issue with Frankenstein in it. It was just I don't know, and of course that was at a different time too, but even stuff that came after Claremont, there's some questionable X-Men stories that, maybe not have been written in the best way.
Yeah.
So as you're saying, writers play a very big part into, you know, knowing if you're going to like it or not. I mean, at this point, Chip Zdarsky could write about any character, and I think I'd really get into it just because I like his style of writing. Same with Jonathan Hickman. I really like what he's been doing. If he went off, I know he did like Fantastic Four and Avengers. I've heard amazing things about those. And I'm not the biggest reader of like Avengers books, but that's certainly something on my list just because, or Fantastic Four, just because Hickman was involved, you know? So that's a really good point.
Johnny Cates, yo, you can't
Another one.
talk about everybody. He's probably the hottest Marvel writer right now. Like
Big time.
Thor, all his books are going crazy. You know what I mean? Like
killing it. Yeah.
Just
Venom.
killing it. You know?
Totally.
I was never that big into Venom. You know, it just wasn't like my thing. But I mean, like, my homies who aren't into Venom are telling me, bro, you got to read this.
No, that's like, when you know. That's when you know you got to read it.
So when you have homies that are not into that character telling you, like, yo, no, seriously, you have to read this.
Yeah.
It's like, fudge. All right.
Yep.
All right. I add it to the pile, add it to the list, you know.
So true, man.
Yeah.
Boom
Studios, yeah.
Boom is also killing it for sure.
Al Ewing's, oh man, we find them when they're dead, something like that. I only read number 1, but
yeah, we only find them when they're dead or something like that.
Dead, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Something is Killing the Children is a really good one.
Children. I actually that's one that I missed the boat on. Like my buddy keeps telling me about it. I'm just like, bruh, I can't. There's too many titles. Like I just can't. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Been loving it. AWA. I do want to give a shout out to AWA. That's a new publisher. They did Year Zero, the Resistance. They have American Ronin that just came out, Bad Mother. But AWA, like, I think is one publisher to like pay attention to. Like everything I've picked up from them has made me want to continue collecting them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard Red Mother. I've seen people talking a little bit more about Red Mother as one of them.
Well, Ben Percy, right? Ben Percy, who writes Wolverine and X-Force. You know, both amazing, like, you know, Dawn of X titles right now.
Yeah.
Ben Percy writes Year Zero, and he wrote.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he wrote Year Zero, and he writes another. He's like writing 3 titles for them. So like, I have to follow it.
Because, like, because you love the other stuff that he's been putting out. He's been great.
Like, and it's good. It's all good. It's all super engaging, super fun. They're page turners. They end with like, it's exactly what you want, you know? So, AWA, I don't know what it stands for, but AWA, just look for them. Year Zero and stuff. Ben Percy, got to make sure to like shout them out.
I'll put it on the list for sure. I mean, I like Ben Percy's stuff so far, so I wouldn't mind checking out some of their titles over at AWA.
Yeah.
All right, man. So let's do a couple of rapid questions because I know we're wrapping up here soon.
Cool.
Want to take a moment again to just thank everybody that's been in the chat, hanging out. There's been a lot of fun. Have a couple fun questions coming up, so hang tight. And make sure if you guys aren't following HongyComics, I put his link in the description below over on Instagram. Make sure you follow him, get to know the dude. Hongy's been putting out some great videos that have some crazy. I think it was. I think it was Alan in the chat, Climbing Comics, who mentioned that he likes your videos a lot. Your unboxings is what he said. I think it was earlier. So yeah, man.
You got some stuff from CGC, so I'm waiting for that stuff to come in too.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. All right. So right off the bat, let's ask. First question I want to ask you is, and this is a really big question, but really simple answer is just one word. Who's your favorite? I guess comic book character in general. Number 1 favorite, if you had to choose one.
Oh, Wolverine.
Ooh, okay. I wasn't sure if you're gonna go with Spidey's with some of the stuff that you're showing. And
I have to. It has more nostalgia for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Snick it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So what about if you could have one superpower, any of your choice, what would that one superpower be?
Fly.
Yeah, nice.
And
got a couple people saying fly. I like it.
That too. I hate transportation, man. I just want to like fly and get to one place and get back to the other.
Hell yeah, man. That's good. I like that. I would probably just do it too, just to get some scenery views and just like,
yeah.
you know, especially you do stuff with video and stuff. I mean, you could
Yeah.
even, that could help the business take some cool videos.
Oh, man. I wouldn't be a hero. It would just be for me, just for all just for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. As long as you weren't doing it for bad, I think that's okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything bad.
It's okay to be a little selfish. Yeah. All right. What about if you could meet one artist or writer, I should just say one creator. If you could meet a creator and have like, dinner with them or be able to pick their brain for an hour, who would that one creator be? They could be alive or dead.
Oh man. Wow. It's funny. I think actually for me, I think I'd love to be able to chat with Jim Lee.
Oh, nice.
I think, yeah.
That could still happen one day.
No, I actually met him. I actually got.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah. I mean, kind of, right? I went to go get a signature and stuff like that.
Right. It's like a high and by. Yeah.
People behind me, so it's happening. But to actually like sit and chat with him, I think would be fascinating, especially like, I mean, he's Jim Lee, right? So and just knowing that, like, especially during the times like early 90s, like I'm telling you, when I saw the name Jim Lee, I legit because I was a kid, I legit thought it was like a descendant or like a relative of Stan Lee. Like, right. No kidding. Like, I was just like, oh, Jim Lee is probably like, a white dude or whatever. Is like, in my mind.
Hey, that's totally understandable to think. I could see that. I could totally see that.
It wasn't until like probably like mid to late 90s where I saw something, and I remember seeing his face and seeing the caption, and being Korean, like, and then hearing hearing people on the television say the words Korean American Jim Lee, like, I was like, wait, what? Like, and so would love to hear his story, like, and just ask about sort of, what that was like and his personal experience kind of going through that. I think that would be, yeah. So that's why Jim Lee rolls off the tongue.
I love that, man. Great choice. And it is funny that you say, because I haven't really crossed my mind, but if you didn't know anything really about it and you just saw Lee and you're just like, oh, like it's probably Stan's like cousin or like nephew or like, so up and coming guy that just got handed, a great deal because he's related to Stan. That's really funny. I like Ragin says a fly is the power. Nice. Climbing likes that you got Wolverine at the top of your list.
Yeah, got it.
Kirk says that he would ask Kirby.
Yeah, yeah, Kirby would be a hard second. Kirby Definitely. Would be a hard second.
Big time.
Just his creativity and innovation, like, he set the bar and set the tone for everything. I will say, like, it's not easy to read that old stuff. It really isn't. It's a different. It really is a different language, a different time and stuff. Yeah. But being able to look through them and being able to, trying to do that and being able to kind of see through, even if through digital, like, you do get to appreciate like why, like, he was that, because nobody else was doing it. Nobody else did it. So you can't. So Kirby would be a hard second. Yeah, absolutely. Nice.
Love it. All right. I want to ask you just a couple. I know we're coming up to the hour just about, but I do want to take a few minutes to just ask you a little bit about some non-comic book related stuff. And the first question I want to ask you is, if it was a Friday night and you had the choice of your own, what would be your go-to meal for dinner, whether it was something you went out to eat or you ordered or you stayed in and cooked? What is your number one go-to, like, Friday night? Yep, gotta have that as my meal for Friday night dinner.
Korean barbecue, brah.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah, it's an easy answer.
Where do you go to for that? Is that something you make on your own, or do you have a spot?
No, like, I mean, you can, but like, it's it's Korean barbecue. It's something you want. It's a social thing for sure. You know what I mean? Like, I have a really good buddy who I take her out for Korean barbecue. Like, we go with each other. In fact, we went. In fact, last Wednesday we were in Flushing. We went to Flushing, nice. And they had an outdoor setup that we usually go to, and so yeah, just go there, have a few beers, grill. It's the best.
Sounds great, man. Sounds great. All right, cool. What about? Are you a sports guy? And if you are, who's your favorite team? If you have one, if you're into sports.
So, Yeah, but like I'm actually following soccer right now. I'm actually following the Premier League and the
Oh,
UEFA
nice.
right now. Yeah. So and right now I have to say because Son Heung-min, he's a Korean player. He's on Tottenham Hotspurs. So been following that team really, really closely.
Nice, nice. I see you got some comments on the barbecue here. The
Oh,
Bay
dude, I'm
has a
from
lot
the
of
Bay,
great
by the
Korean.
way. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
from the Bay. I'm from East Oakland. So yeah, I definitely know about the Korean, barbecue spots in the Bay. All Telegraph Avenue. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm all about it. Believe me. I haven't been there in years, not since like 2004 maybe, but
damn,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
good stuff. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, hey, soccer's a sport, man. You count it, it's for sure. So it's cool that you're monitoring a lot of that stuff. I've never really been into it other than when I played when I was like 10 years old, but that was about it. But I definitely respect the sport as a sport because those guys play hard.
Yeah.
All right, what about music? Where do you stand with kind of your favorite or your go-to music? I know obviously that's a big thing and that can constantly change, I'm sure, but what are you listening to right now and what's like your favorite artist or band
Oof.
that you're listening to?
If I'm being honest, I don't listen to anything. I don't really. I haven't followed new music in a good amount of years. Like
Oh,
I turned 37 this year, so I definitely am not young. You know what I mean? And I,
that's young, man. Don't put yourself out there. That's still young, man.
I will say, like, I think it was around like maybe after I turned 30. I just couldn't follow new music. Like I still listen to like all the like 2000s hip hop, 90s hip hop, 80s hip hop,
Yeah,
like I still will listen to 80s pop
yeah,
over like so I don't know, like that's anything pretty much like pre 2010. And there's good stuff. There's obviously good stuff that I'll
sure.
hear. I just don't know who they are. I
Yeah,
don't know
you
like
don't do the research because it's
yeah,
time consuming. It's too yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I am right there with you, man. And I will say, I feel like, I'm 32 now, and I feel like I think like maybe 4 years ago is where I really fell off. Really doing the research. Like I used to listen to a lot of metal. I still listen to a lot of like heavy metal bands that are from Europe and just other parts of the world. But those kind of bands you had to really research to even
Yeah.
find because they're not your radio pop MTV type of bands. So I used to have a big appreciation for music. I used to go to school for music, all the stuff. But I totally get it. I feel like there's a time in your life where, and of course, everyone's different. But for me, it was similar to you. Like I kind of just dropped a lot of that stuff, and I just stuck to what I knew.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we might look. I know I always looked at my parents and was always like, you guys should listen to some new stuff and stop. You're always just listening to the 70s or the 80s or whatever. Like check out some new. But now I'm like starting to miss out on some of the new stuff. So it is a little funny
It's
too.
hard. It's
It
not.
is.
You know what it is too. We don't have the like radio like we used to.
True.
We like and the way music is delivered now, right? It's just so different.
Yep.
So yeah, it's really, I think it's harder now than ever. I think it's definitely diversified more. Like it's just muddied
Yeah.
it, I feel like, and so it's harder for some of these ones to stick out. And the ones that do, like I don't understand sometimes. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not totally missing out on some of this newer music that I've heard because some of it is trash, some of it is complete
yeah.
trash. But sometimes you're safer, sticking to the 80s, the 90s. I see here Rage and saying 80s and
Yeah,
90s.
you can't mess with it, man. You can't mess with the OG. You cannot. Like,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, yeah, conscious hip hop. I will say, like Kendrick Lamar now, like
Oh yeah.
rapper. Like, it took. I didn't understand the music the first time. Their music the first time, right? Because Kendrick Lamar has a very, very distinct way of like rhyming,
Telling things too. Yeah, yeah.
telling the story. Chance is very similar as well. But I
Mhm.
realize it's just that evolution, and they've definitely, yeah. I mean, they're huge names for a reason, like 100%. Yeah.
Big time. I see Desired Comics here saying a lot of the current music out is trash. Yeah, man. Unfortunately, you know what it is, I think too. I think I talked about this last episode too. I think a little bit is just because it's so backed by money. And so, the labels, they want their artists to be a certain way or sound a certain way, say certain things that attract, the younger audiences. And, not everybody, but certainly there's a lot out there nowadays that has that kind of agenda. So, but look, hey, at the end of the day, I get it. You're a business, you're running a business, you're trying to make money. I understand. But, it is nice to see some independent, artists still doing their thing and people still getting discovered that way.
Yeah.
But great stuff, man. Good stuff all in all. I think that covers everything. I wanted to give you just a quick platform for yourself. If you want to give a shout out to anything or what do you have coming up next, and where else, is there anywhere else that people can find you? Is it just Instagram?
No, it's just my Instagram. I mean, I'm, like I said, I'm a pretty like semi-private person, I live my life, I do my work, you know what I mean? I enjoy my hobbies, and I'm a simple guy. So I'm not like trying to do anything crazy. I do have stuff out to CGC, so I'll probably definitely be making more videos as soon as I get those unboxing videos. Definitely excited for that stuff. I'm actually sending more stuff. I just sent out some stuff on Wednesday, actually. Wow, Wednesday was a big day. Yeah, Wednesday I just sent some stuff out for that big signing. Like sent out my Batman 251 to get signed by Neil Adams.
I saw that. Nice.
Yeah, so that one I sent in my ASM 36 to get signed and sketched, remarked by Ramita and Hannah. So so got some dope books coming up. But just the IG, hit me up at HongyComics. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Climbing says awesome show. Thank you both. Glad to know you better through the videos, Hongy. And I think I saw Kirk earlier said he just followed you as well. So yeah, guys, thank you all for hanging out. Everybody that's been in the chat, always appreciate the good times and the support that everybody's been doing. Hongy, you're my 15th guest, man. This is the 15th episode. So yeah, it's been pretty cool.
AF15.
There you go, brother. Great stuff, dude. Hell yeah, man. For sure, dude. It's been awesome. This show's been really cool. I've been having great laughs with people like you, just getting to know the community, and having more people on week by week. So you two have been somebody that's supported me, and I appreciate that. Greatly appreciate that. And just everything that you're doing, man. I hope to continue to see the videos that you're putting out there. Some photos of some of the sweet slabs that you're picking up. And all that stuff. So stay on the grind. And thanks again for being on the show, guys. Make sure you go follow Hongy. His stuff is in the description below.
Absolutely. Thanks again, man.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So we will wrap this up. Anybody watching the replay, thanks for if you made it this long, thank you so much hanging out. Make sure you go follow Hongy, and we'll be back next Saturday, same time, 2:00 Eastern time. Got another guest on for you. So until then, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon.